all up to speed for a little inspiration.
We stole a shark out the water after whooping some Shahugans.
So, wow.
Sahugans.
Honestly, you nailed it.
No notes.
Yeah, we got jumped by we okay. Correction. Zal did some amazing what's the word? Talking? It's not talking. Bartering. I got that mixed up with the word bard. Confused me.
The bard bartered.
Yes. And convinced a halfling. What is Halfling Joe is his name?
So
Halfling
close.
Hank.
So
Hank
close.
with an E.
Halfling Hank with an E.
Halfling Hank and his oh my god, I have sauce all over my fingers. I don't remember the name of the ship.
How is the sauce affecting
You
your
have-
brain?
You
I
made
can't
a
click around
fascinating challenge though for yourself. The sauce fingers challenge. See what you can remember about last session.
No,
Your
I
hands
can't
in
click on my
sauce.
notes.
With your hands in
See
sauce.
what you remember.
I
I'm
can't
pretty
click
sure
on
that
my
was the
notes
name of
to
the.
get the
I'm pretty sure
name.
that was the name of the ship, the Sauce Fingers.
The sauce
No,
fingers.
I can't click my notes. So Zal did amazing bartering, scored it, knocked it out of the park, convinced him and his crew to take us to the I almost called it the Devil's Landing. I am off today. It is the Dread Lookout, not the Devil's Landing. We are making our way there, midway there.
I sort of like this glimpse into like a parallel universe version of this game that we're getting.
Adam, this is like when you react.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our midst the way there, we got attacked by some Sahugans after I think around the fifth day it was, fourth or fifth, because then we had two more rolls. So yes, fourth or fifth day. It was about 6 days in total, and then smooth sailing after that. During the fight of the Sahugans, no casualties were taken. All the crew members lived. Surprisingly, the Sahugans were bad, absolutely bad, and missed one of the most goated of the crew members. Didn't even kill him. Good on him. We should indoctrinate him, by the way. We should adopt him.
You led with indoctrinate. I wanna know. Fascinating.
Take him, and then now we're at the Dread Lookout. Oh my god.
You're really going hard on the Minnesota today. It's interesting. The Sahugans, don't you know?
So we made it to the coast, took the extra day of travel, the extra day or two, went through the night, made it to the Dread Lookout. Now we are camped out in front of the Dread Lookout, proceeding to potentially open it, go inside. We're not really sure what our full plan is on this one. I know we're gonna open it, but we don't really remember the full semantics of the plan, right? We just knew we were coming here.
I love the implication. We had a plan.
Exactly. And in the off chance that we need, Halfling Hank and his crew members are waiting off the coast for I think 3 days is what they are paid for. And
4 days specifically.
4 days. And I believe we've already taken a day, so there's 3 days left. And so that is where we're at.
I just want to add one thing. Our wonderful bard bartered with free labor, of which none of us agreed to.
I didn't that wasn't even part of the bartering. That was just to make everyone happy.
It did not get any discount whatsoever.
Purple sales, though.
He did his purple sales, and his name is fucking Halfling Hank.
Actually, did you get out bartered by Halfling Hank? I'm thinking about he got you to pay for purple sales.
Well, he did say the purple sales did kind of sell it. His branding was great. Okay, listen.
You said I like the cut of his jib, and to be
I like
fair,
the cut of his
I'm
jib.
with you.
I met him halfway.
We're
shall we
paying
say.
for the service that we have received.
Yeah. You like the cut of his jib, and then also, can you make my friends work on this ship?
He did not offer any of his
After I'm
services,
done.
by the
No.
way.
No,
I
no,
said
no.
I said I
What are you
could I
doing?
could play music in the middle somewhere, which is distinctly not work per se.
You were gonna do it anyways.
Very,
Yeah.
very,
Well-
very good, Dawson. Please take some inspiration, please.
Yes, thank you.
Just as a reminder of some nice connective lore is that you found out he was the ship that Umeli
he
had
brought
taken.
Umeli.
Yeah. That's why
I
Weird.
told him not to mention that.
Yep.
Told
Yep.
him to keep a lid on that around the crew.
Start searching the boat. I should. Oh, you should have told us. Maybe she hid her book
He
on the
kept
boat.
drawings of her, just like Titanic. Oh my
Oh.
god.
And one hand.
Oh God.
The hand of the sea.
The hand of the sea. Cool. You all are camped at the Dread lookout. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm just making it daytime.
Huzzah! It is we have arrived.
Huzzah! Okay. Morning of the 10th of Flame Rule.
Mm-hmm.
You are camped, basically at the foot or just outside, of the Dread Lookout. The terrain familiar, as it is more of a kind of rocky, shale, grayish kind of expanse here. A lot more mountainous kind of hills. Very little in the way of uh, vegetation. There's sporadic growth here and there, but this land pretty much is affected by the volcano and the ash that rains down into this area. So it remains actually more barren. Though there, as with most places, there is still life in these barren lands.
Of
It
course.
is early morning of the 10th. What is it that you all would like to do?
This
I remember
morning-
first. That's why I did telepathic bond. We were here in front of the Dread Lookout. That's what it was. Continue on. I apologize.
There you go.
I'm gonna summon my steed.
Okay, what kind of steed are you summoning?
I sing a song that I learned from Durham's people about somebody who could summon, who could basically weave spirits into physical form. Today it will be the nasty little boy, the Periton. I put on my mage mask.
Oh.
Oh god, flashbacks.
A song of Lignum Mini Mouse. What is a Paragon?
It's a Periton. It's a fucked up bird with a skull face and a human shadow. Don't ask questions.
I just want to know what it looks like. That's all.
I got you. These are one of my favorite things.
I learned my stuff from D&D from you guys. That's how it works. You guys teach me.
God.
Kaka.
It's got
Okay.
carnivore teeth.
And the horns of
Yay.
an antler. Got it. Oh, the antlers of a
Yeah.
blue.
Deer head. Sharp teeth, claws, talons, rainbow wings.
It's majestic. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got all kinds of things going on there.
And they have a horrible sound that they make.
Hmm?
Uh-huh.
Just seeing
So
if I
let me
actually-
ask this question, Zal.
Mhm.
When you are mounted on this thing, if we
I
look at the
cannot.
Yeah.
Not
What?
this, not this guy.
What?
Thoroughly confused. But
I
continue.
guess you're asking about shadow, right? What does the shadow situation look like?
I'm just when one is mounted on this and you look at the shadow, does it look like
Uh-huh.
somebody's giving someone else a piggyback ride?
I suppose it would have to, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like one of the guys is doing a full Superman hand splayed forward, which is the
I-
funniest way to imagine the human shadow of a bear. Doing the full wee.
I like that, Max. It looks like the equivalent of 3 little kids stacked on top of each other in a tote.
Oh my god. Amazing.
Okay, I should have prepared. just have to find out where it puts these things.
Where it hides them.
Yeah, it's imported it. And what folder did it decide to put them in? I don't pay attention.
I love
Okay.
these fuckers.
I'm gonna put it into the find steed. And make you the owner of it. Okay.
Barbecue.
It's under summons find steed Periton. Okay.
I just
It-
realized for Ragnarok to be a vegan, you sure do bite and rip the things off a lot of things.
Yeah, but I don't ingest them.
it's about intent.
Also, I've never been the things that I bite, so that's on the table.
Okay, a Periton is summoned. Does yours have any kind of special look or as is?
I think yeah, I think as is, though I think it's like the rather than feathers, it has a bit more like fur than it's supposed to. Like most of his steeds will just be a little bit more furry, I think, than they're supposed to.
Okay. It makes like a terrible bleeding noise.
Oh,
Uh,
come here, come here. Everyone meet Scritches.
How dare it?
What?
Ah,
What?
screeches.
Wasn't that the name of your wyvern?
Yep.
it,
Also name of my childhood dog.
its mouth opens in a semi like smile-ish kind of look, but just reveals these sharp teeth.
We'll work on that.
I'm assuming it's good. We're fine.
I mean, it's not gonna bite you.
It snaps
Unless I
its jaws
ask you to.
lazily.
Yeah,
Okay,
see,
these are all friends.
I'm sure it's fine, but I mean, maybe making statements like it's not gonna bite you may be a little preemptive.
I hand it. I like reach into a pack, pull out some like ration.
Okay.
It sniffs it
Um,
and turns his nose up at it.
Yeah, I figured. Firm in the future, this one I think is gonna want meat.
oh, well, for real. Here you go. Where's it at? I have one in here.
He gives him the hero's feast.
It's just an array of human hearts.
Surprisingly, I guess all of my rations got deleted out of my inventory, but it's fine.
I mean, it's likely you gave them away or something.
You know what? That sounds a lot better.
Mm,
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm pretty.
You don't
Oh,
need it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rations have been used quite a lot for like monetary and exchange and bartering goods, with and like goodwill with animals and stuff.
Oh. Firm's like, well,
While we go inside, it can just sort of keep an eye on things out here and let me know.
mm-hmm. Do you want me to include? Okay. Firm's like, do you want me to include him in the bond for everybody, or let me double check that that's how that even works. 8 willing creatures. He can quite literally talk
mean-
to all of us if you want.
That's up to it. Turn and look at it.
Only one way to find out.
Let me just check. Okay.
His int's pretty okay.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on with this creature? Okay. I mean, look, it's the telepathic bond says creature. I mean, it's willful, but I mean, you also kind of can control this thing. Zal. So, I mean, I don't know that it can fully give consent
Yeah.
as a creature type, right?
Okay,
But
let's
like you, because of the nature of of Fine Steed and that connection, I think you could make it like a work.
well, seeing as how it's its first day, let's start with no. And then we'll work our way towards there. We'll build a rapport.
Okay.
Quick question: is it a celestial, a fae, or a fiend?
Faye.
Kindred spirit.
Aw.
Wow,
I
we're
will
out walking
say,
around.
when I was a familiar, I did appreciate having a telepathic bond with my owner.
Oh,
Ooh.
I've got one of those.
Ah, you just don't want to show it.
I mean, Ragnarok, do you want to talk with it?
I have some right here.
I mean, I don't remember how to talk in bee speech, but I wouldn't mind.
Firm's like casually like raising his hands the closer the sentence gets to the word yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Ta-da. Oh, excuse me.
What's his name?
Scritches.
Scritches.
Scritches. That's right. Of course. That's what I choked on earlier. Hello, Squitches.
I knew it. There it was.
There it is.
Yeah, Cody, this is
Oh, I'm sorry. No, we're telepathic bond right now. Hello, Scritches.
Cody, I'm gonna have
Uh-huh.
you RP your own animal.
Oh, interesting. Hi.
Does it bother you that we have a telepathic bond with you? That you're sharing it with the rest of us and not just Zal?
No.
I'll look to Zal. See, I told you.
Meat?
Oh, that's provided by one of us in particular, and I'll look to Firm.
Firm's like looking around like, is he hungry now?
It seems so.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're all gonna take a break real quick. Ow, that hurt. There we go. Feels better. Okay. All the food you can want right now.
Is that better?
Meat friend.
Did you say me friend?
Meat
Mhm.
friend.
Meat friend. Oh, okay. Well, the quickest way to a beast's heart is through food.
Firm. It just this horrible fucking skull face is just nuzzling up against you.
All the pets for Scritches. The Scritches for Scritches.
Okay, we've got a job to do. The Scritches will keep a lookout out here in case general fuckery. I was gonna
Valid.
say, do we have a game plan for what we're doing in there? But I already know the answer to that.
Firm looks around. Why did we come here?
Unleash the army against the undead, I assume.
Yeah, take control of an immortal army and save the world. Sort of.
He's been around in the loop, but I don't think he fully processed this. He looks at you with like an astounded face. We're doing that today?
Right. The magic stick that we got, named Moonlight, that we put in a tube and
No,
hit
no,
it.
that part I got.
Right. That's to
But
control, and that's why we're here.
So we're just gonna bring them all out today. Got
I
it.
don't know.
Did you want to wait?
He looks up. It's still in the sky.
As opposed to where?
On the
Yeah,
ground.
but there's undead scouring the nation now.
Fair enough. Apologies, I was thoroughly lost.
Also, once we. Well, I suppose we can get in now that we have the item, right? We got sealed out because we left before.
Can't we lock it?
Maybe.
Kind of just closes behind us.
But I mean, like, if we have the key, can't you just lock it like a house?
I mean, I think it locks itself mostly.
Oh, nice. Okay. I feel like we answered this question last time we were here, and I don't fully remember why not we never came back.
Getting involved in automaton head that we found that I think Umeli had killed one of the defenders.
Umeli had taken the head
Mm.
off of the
Oh,
construct that had
bristling
been recovered from that it was sorry, I'm forgetting Vecmodim's name. That Vecmodim had recovered and has been keeping in the Arcanium. She discovered that in her fever madness dreams that she connected the dots that it is likely to open, and she was correct. You all stand before the everything. Okay, cool. You all stand before the tower. The wind blowing around. The tower is large enough that like low-lying clouds or fog seem to kind of brush its top. There's occasional birds flying around. It is as sealed as it was the first time you saw it and the time when you left.
Now's the time, I think, to ask. I pray to God, Ember Prime,
Yep.
you've got the key, right?
Oh boy. Yeah, of course I have the key. It's right here.
I was generally concerned you as a character left it somewhere.
Ember Prime promptly undoes the contraption, only to let out the crazy evil book instead. Oh shit, wrong one.
A smash cut
Feel
to the
two
tube.
things in iron, and I don't remember which one was which.
So we gonna go then?
No time like the present.
Who wants to hold it presumably in their hands while we go in?
I got it. It's fine.
Once we're in there, whoever's holding it is in charge. So
No, there's like a thing you gotta get in. Right?
I think.
It's been a year.
But I mean,
Yeah, we can go ask not safety thing.
I think we'll be
The
fine.
thing. Yeah, I'm not worried. We never really did have a conversation on who's going to control the thing. I had a plan,
Nope.
but I don't think it's actually a good idea anymore, so it's fine.
what was your plan?
Find somebody that's not one of us.
I'll find somebody pure heart or something.
How do we test for that?
Oh, Gambert probably could have done it.
No, Gembert could not have done it.
I mean,
I think you're
he-
missing the implications of what it means to control this army.
Oh, I'm not. It's also just in the tier of giving it to somebody who would be actively harmful with it. Giving it to somebody who might be gently ineffectual is technically better. If it's not good, but
It's
less
not. It's just as bad. Whoever is controlling this army is Adari's defense, their last hope for survival. Ineffectual means we all die.
I would say you need a warrior to command an army.
Oh, a general.
Technically, you need a commander to command an army.
Man.
May
I don't know if you all are
ask-
talking out loud, but Ragnarok specifically talking in the bond.
Oh, no, Ember Prime is definitely speaking out loud.
Okay.
Should we make this decision before we enter the lookout? or after?
I think we should wait till after because we still don't have half a clear picture of what we're expecting. So we should learn more before we waste a few hours in sunlight.
Does that sound reasonable to everyone?
I'm sorry. Wait, what did we decide?
Inside.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, we should definitely go inside.
Well, then, I am excited to see if your description is as accurate of the inside as it has been of the out.
That feel weird to anyone else? That feels weird to me. Anyway, let's go.
Last I recall, I believe the control rod, the Ethil Denora, is in a sealed metal tube.
Sure is. Gonna take me an hour to get that shit back out, y'all.
So I started blasting, right?
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah,
I
blasting.
guess
is good.
theoretically I could have been smart and done it in the last like hour or so of the boat ride, but I don't think I would have just for security's sake.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just saying I could have done an intelligent thing, but I definitely didn't.
So what do you do to
on.
unseal the artifact that you need?
It will take me an hour to use my channel divinity using the non-magical components of this staff, because the magical components cannot be affected by my channel divinity.
Yeah, you can change the metal container into another thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah. I'm curious, what do you change it into?
Let me mark off my use of channel divinity. That would kind of depend on about how much value this has, and I do not remember.
Oh, I mean it's
Again, not including the staff. I just mean
not
like
not the staff. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that exactly, but let's say you have within the range of what is possible, right?
I will turn it into a very can I actually do very fancy?
I
It must
don't
include
know.
some metal, a simpler martial weapon, a suit of armor, 10 pieces, a set of tools, or another metal object worth no more than 100 gold. So I will turn them into a set of cook's utensils, or turn it into a set of cook's utensils. Very
Yeah.
fancy.
It's awesome.
Very cool. Okay. Like
Taps
that.
you on the shoulder. Can I have those?
Yeah,
What's up for you?
That's what I was gonna do, is give it to you.
Ah. Sorry. Look very fancy.
During this hour, Ragnarok will just say, while we're here, is there anyone who doesn't want the power to control an army?
Zal raises his hand.
Not necessarily something I'm enthusiastic about.
I don't think it's one who needs to be enthusiastic about it. I think it's more so anyone who's adamantly against it. Like, do
Having
not choose me in any circumstances.
having held
Understood.
world altering power in my hands once, I'll take it, but I don't want it.
Yeah, sort of the same boat. If
Okay.
required, I'll do it. Not
Okay, I just
not interested though.
whoever takes this has to be ready and willing to kill everyone in Bastion, or everyone in Maras, or everyone in Karakara if that need arises. You got to be able to do that and live with yourself afterwards. with no hesitation.
Awkward stares around at the group.
Even that innocence?
I'm a little confused.
Everyone. Okay.
I'm confused as to why you think that.
Because
Please
you're going to
explain.
be commanding the army of the defense of the entire world. You are going to be in the position to have to make horrible and terrible decisions about who you can save and who has to be sacrificed. This is this is not just walk the army out onto some uninhabited field. I don't want this. I fully can tell you I'm not capable of sacrificing all of Maras. I should not have this power.
I think, Amber Prime, I think you may be thinking about this in a way that is not going to help any of us make a decision about who it should be. I think you have a point that we will very likely not have finite control over every single thing that the force inside is doing at any time. But I think that particular line of thinking, the extremity of the annihilation of the living things on this planet, is entirely counterintuitive to the existence of it in the first place. Because the whole point of
I am not saying
the
that
Dread Lookout,
everyone is going to be annihilated. I am saying that we might lose significant portions of Idari.
yes, but that's
But that means that
already in
you
the
have to.
understanding that
Well,
this world will be at war. That is something we are already in comprehension of. I think that the point that you're trying to make may be a little more
From like,
than we need to really be weighing at this juncture.
Firm interjects real quick. I do believe I sort of stand with Ember Prime on this one. I get it, right? What you're saying and what Ember Prime here is saying. However, on Ember Prime's side, I think they're looking at the full picture way past what happens in the moment of. They're looking at what if there's like probably a war coming out. This is what that's what I'm assuming. Ember Prime, correct me if I'm wrong. Look, there's a battlefield in Mirash's city, and whoever the skeletons, the undead army, somebody of the other side has like hostages. The only way foreseeable in that moment when we're not there, but the army is to make sure the undead doesn't walk. Everybody has to die. Like I get you what you're saying, Rainier. However, we don't really have the luxury of waiting until moment of. Ember Prom's bringing up a very good point right now. We need to think these
Well,
things through.
I do not think entertaining such vivid hypotheticals is going to help us make a decision.
I would interject to say a reasonable hypothetical is to consider, are you capable of making a decision to save some people and not others? And if you can you live with that on your mind and I suppose your soul? If not to order the deaths of, with this responsibility, you will be in charge of deciding who to protect. And it may be that we render all of this unnecessary because that is not a problem, but it is something to think about when we go in, when you're considering whether you want to hold this thing or if you think you're one for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could make that decision rightly. I think I would probably fuck it up by trying to save everyone. So I don't
I
probably
think
not right for this.
I think another question to throw into this. I get it. We're doing hypotheticals, but in that moment, if whoever it is that has to run this army makes a call like that, are we going to look at them differently for it? Like we're not in their position in that moment. We have an outside view.
I mean, personally, no, because that That's the point, right?
Mm-hmm. Because that like adds a whole nother factor to being the one to take this. Like you have to risk your personal connections at that point, what other people might think of you. Which
I
in the
think
end of the day, it doesn't seem like a big thing, but for individual like running this, like that needs to be evaluated because in their moment, like if they don't have any more like solid foundation of people or a support, and they're already like pulling strings as it is, it could break somebody in that kind of like situation. You don't want somebody to break.
Firm has a point. We all have our own personal biases, and when someone makes a choice that we ourselves wouldn't make, it's going to be impossible not to look at them differently.
Mm-hmm. So Ember Prime's original question: who here can live with it? The full picture. Any call, losing all connections.
I mean, again, I don't think we should make the decision about who's doing it now, but I think Ragnarok, you had a point. If anyone wishes to permanently at this moment bow out of of I don't know, the opportunity, put it foully. Ember Prime, you said you do not want it. Is that right?
Correct. I'm out.
Okay. Firm, am I mistaken in understanding you said you also don't want it?
I did not say that. I haven't spoken
All
on it
right.
yet. I can give you
I
my
thought you had said it after
no, no.
Ember had said it. Yeah.
Just he
Okay.
agreed with Ember Prime's like point of this is going to be a big thing. Firm's stance on this is I feel like this is obviously I can't speak for anybody else except for myself. So with this, giving where I have came from in my prior family and connections, the things that I don't have anymore. I get it. It's not like pertinent to this, but it's pertinent to me. I've lost a lot of connections and I'm still going strong now. I lost my entire family basically. I don't necessarily, aside from you guys and like a few friends for like Bastion, I don't have like solid connections with the rest of the like Adari. I'm willing to follow you guys. So in that sense, like I'm also with this caveat, I'm willing to take the risk of it if we need somebody to do it and be in charge with the you guys as the support group helping me make some calls that we have the moment to make. And then outside of that, if you guys think I'm going way out of bounds, to instantly get rid of me in the moment.
Get rid of you?
In this case, there also needs to be a contingent of whoever has this power cannot be allowed to have a one rule all. Yes, they have to make tough calls, but if they start going out of control with this power, they need to be stopped. And that's my point. Like
Uh,
Rainier before with the book, when that thing was occurring, you said if I would have like turned evil, you would have put me down, and I'm okay with that.
Question:
Same things. Yes.
do we know that the leader of this army can in fact be replaced?
I'm not. No, but I do
That
believe.
feels like a question for the
It's not
what
a
is
Overseer.
it called
Yeah.
here?
not
Yeah.
a bad
Overseer.
question though.
Overseer. There we go.
Yeah.
Had to check my field notes.
So yeah, that's my stance on it. That's where I stand. I'll agree to do it. I've already lost the things. If I lose more, I do believe I'll be okay. It won't feel great, but I will be able to persevere through. But I still also ask that this is a big ask that in the moment of if you guys seem it unworthy or that I'm going out of bounds to stop me in the moment of.
Mighty big. Mighty big of you. Durham, do you have would you like to request that you not be entertained for this position?
I have no problems with that responsibility.
All right. Ragnarok.
Hopefully, I don't seem power hungry by saying this, but I'd like to throw my hat in the ring for accepting this power because as I see it, I'm not from this plane. Even though I technically call Bastion as my home, those are not my people. if it comes to sacrificing some, then I accept that responsibility. My sole purpose is to see the goal of the Scarlet Justice fulfilled, which is the eradication of the children of the Darksire and any minions thereof. So I'd willingly accept this responsibility.
All right. Now that we have that part settled, are we ready to go learn what we're actually dealing with?
I think
Firm,
so.
Firm also
Yeah,
asked, what about yourself, Rainier?
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, but the responsibilities and all that shit that has been discussed is already one that I've taken on, just in a smaller form. So I thought my answer was fairly apparent. But uh, I am not choosing to decline at this time.
2 out, 4 in. Got it.
well, it's gonna be real awkward when we go in there and we find out that it requires 3 hands on it to.
hmm
Yeah, see, this is one of the reasons I've been saying we've had a year to think about it, and thinking about it ain't gonna do us no good till we know more about it. So.
Was it, I, I suppose I should have been thinking about it more. I thought about it maybe like once every 3 to 4 weeks. That one of those thoughts like right before you go to bed when you open your eyes and you're like, oh no. And then it passes after a time and you go to.
Hell, okay.
Well, let's go talk to a robot.
We're going on a trip. But Prime, do the honors.
Yeah, once I have the thing, I will let us in.
Oh.
Okay. Approaching a portion of the wall that you're pretty sure is where Cal had led you before. Without his specific knowledge, you're not 100% certain, but you're looking at it and looking at the rocks nearby, and you think, well, that rock kind of looks familiar. You walk up, hold the Ithildanor in your hand, and as you approach the wall, you see a section in the metal, a split begin to appear and forms into the shape of a door. And then you see that door kind of pull outward and then pull up and inward, like vertically going up, lifting not unlike a car trunk, but instead of lifting towards you, it lifts up and away from you, and revealing the interior of the Dread Lookout once more.
This way to the caretaker overseer thing.
Stepping in, a familiar sight to many, an odd sight to some. A purely mechanical metal tower that scrapes into the sky itself. As you step in, the last of you to enter, the doorway behind you rotates back down. You see it slide into place. You hear the moving of mechanisms and then the light of the outside world. What thin ray pierced through is sealed. Dim lights along the floorway begin to kind of flicker in, giving you a very low light sense of the space that you're in. You see a familiar portal open up, metallic portal, an opening, iris open, and a little metallic ball with spindly legs climbs out. You see a kind of viewing hole, a eyeball of sorts, uh, looks down and looks towards each of you in turn, and then begins skittering up the hallway leading deeper into the facility. You have been here before. You are standing in a very large. I mean, the door that opens is very large. The hall that you're in, the tunnel is very large. More like you guys could walk, maybe six abroad, shoulder to shoulder, and still have room to move around this place. Seems designed for beings much larger than yourselves.
Mhm.
Having been here before, you know that there are three main sections here. There is the way to the power systems down below. There is, well, I guess there's four main ones. There's the power systems. There's also the armory. There are the archives where the overseer is housed, and then the main center portion of the entire facility is the prime commorancy, where the uh, Eternal Army is sleeping. Where would you guys like to go?
I think we're headed to the Overseer.
Mhm.
Okay.
Your description was so detailed, I feel like I have been here before.
You pass by the main center point that leads to the other locations, and you follow the hall as you search your memories, translating the signs. The signs, the only languages are, as you've discovered previously on your visit, is there is written post in Gnomish and Elvish. They're like proto versions of these languages, but are able to be translated for those that speak it with some effort, or if those of you that have magical means may be able to discern something from it as well. But you recognize the direction you need to go. In a few moments, you are entering into the archive room. You see as you enter in, much like every place you go here, lights alight in front of you as you go. Most are working. The vast majority are. Some parts don't light up, but almost everything in here is completely functional. Entering into the archive, you see a bunch of lights and panels come to life. You see these illusory displays begin to form at like the main control center. Um, and you one of these panels seems to kind of have a it's like the little graphic that displays when someone's like speaking in games and movies. Just a little like audio form is moving, and you just hear a voice speak out loud. In common, welcome back. I see you have retrieved the Athildenora. Would you like to activate the facility?
We have a couple questions first.
It seems to be waiting for whatever your questions are.
For a question.
What immediately happens after we activate?
Once the Eternal Army is awoken, they will begin to be removed from their pods. After that, whoever holds the Athildenora maintains control.
What does maintain control mean?
The ability to direct the army as you see fit.
Is this an active process or a passive one?
Unsure.
And how fine of a point of control is the wielder of the Athildenora meant to have over the army? These are souls, right? Do they behave as they would naturally, just in a different body?
Whoever wields the Athildenora has complete control over the Eternal Army. Any instruction given, they will complete.
And ownership of the rod is all that is required to control, right?
Once the rod has been synchronized to the army, whoever wields it will have complete control.
Ah, that's even scarier.
It's only one person, but it can be passed to another or stolen.
How long does it take to? I guess mechanically, it's talking about attunement, which takes an hour. But is there like a chair or something? Like, how do they see everything to control the army?
That specific information is unknown. The wielder of the Ithilda Nora has complete control over the Eternal Army.
Hmm.
To that point, if the service provided by the Eternal Army is completed, their task of stopping the Atropos is finished, what is to become of the army? Is there a natural fault of the protocol, or do they continue to answer to those who hold the Ithilda Nora?
As long as the army persists, they will answer to whoever wields the Ithilda Nora.
Can they be deactivated?
Unsure. It may be possible to return to a stasis pod, but that has never been tried.
Suppose if all else fails, you march them all into volcano.
Dear God.
I mean,
I
it
mean,
is a way of taking them off the board.
they're still living.
Are they?
They've been changed into these things, but they are still they were and are still the souls of gnomes and elves. I mean,
Mhm.
proto gnomes
So
and
is it
elves,
a
I guess.
good thing to leave them in there forever?
I don't know, but I don't know if it's the right thing to kill them.
I mean, when the service is concluded, then what? We park them forever, and then they get to just exist forever?
Let's not put the cart before the horse.
Agreed.
Let's worry about ending the threat before we worry about what to do with the army once the threat is ended. You have said that the control of the army is total and complete. Does that mean the person in control can communicate with the army regardless of distance?
That information seems to be accurate.
Is that communication two-way? Can the army report back as to what is going on from various locations? Or can they only receive orders?
Information transfer should be both ways.
Hmm.
So we get to the real question, which is who's gonna hold it? And once that's handled, then we turn it on.
I think there's a more important consideration to make beyond who is going to hold it. Given that the army can be controlled from anywhere, and that whomever controls the army can receive information from everywhere, and that all it takes to control the army is to have possession of the Ithildenora. It seems to me that whomever controls the army should be in the most isolated location possible.
Do you mean here?
Yeah,
I do.
this is about as protected as it gets.
I do think it is quite fortunate that we will be able to communicate with whoever remains with the Ithildenora via the army itself.
Yes, I think it is the safest way to ensure that the army remains in that individual's control.
I don't personally like it, but I think you are correct. I'm not fond of the idea of someone being stuck here for this purpose, but
It
I
also,
think you're right that it's the smartest.
whoever stays in here then will be beyond our ability to stop if everything goes poorly, right? So
Yes.
that ups the stakes on who's gonna take it.
If the door's shut with the Ithildenora and its user inside, then you are right.
Well, there may be a way inside still, right? We used the head of a previous robot to get inside. Could we potentially do that again if
Fair
Maybe.
enough.
we need to get back to them?
They're not robots.
Sorry, excuse me. Wrong
I-
word.
No, I just mean we would have to kill one of the soldiers to do that, right? Wasn't it one of the soldiers that woke up early and escaped?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah,
But
we
if
My
things are so dire that you need to get to the person to stop them, then the death of one soldier doesn't seem like that big of a
and my
detriment.
guess
Mm.
is that with the coming war, there will be plenty of dead soldiers on both sides.
Hmm.
True.
that's fair. Yeah.
So it's not impossible. It's just
Ooh, that actually causes a slight hiccup. If they
You
were
think
watching like they
if
used to do, and they know that we know how to get in here, yes, they were ready for us to find like the rod and whatnot, correct? However, if they catch wind that you can use one of these soldiers to get in, anybody could then kill one of those. I say anybody, but if they can best one of the soldiers, could just walk right into the Dread Lookout as well.
true, but we can't prepare for that eventuality. There's what, one short of 5,000 soldiers? If someone figures that one out, well then, whoever's up here can beat their head in, right?
whomever
Fair enough.
stays needs to be the most likely to hold their own by themselves.
And just as a quick note, when you were attacked at the Moon Temple in Finlanora, they were not going after the rod. They had no idea it existed. Nobody
Yep.
knows this existed except the people you have told about it, right?
Yep.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
they only knew that we were after something. They have no context for what it is or why we wanted it. So
yeah. Rue was like, "Oh, for you to be leaving in this moment, it must be important, and whatever's important to you is important to me, right? That's the logic of it all." And just to add clarity, it's 50,000, not 5,000.
And
oh, yes it is. That's in
Yeah,
my notes.
it would be
5,000 is not many. I was just
yeah,
skimming.
no. It is vastly more soldiers than the armies of all of Adari combined. Whoever controls this army is the single most dangerous person on the continent, possibly the planet.
also, just to take a quick moment to pat ourselves on the back a little bit, how'd that work out for Rue?
Not good.
A year in Ash currently. Woo!
As a point of consideration here, then we have to decide who. Obviously, whoever stays becomes incredibly useful in this capacity, but
Mm-hmm.
we lose you out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to his own point, Ragnarok has been very good at taking down anything we're pointing fingers at.
Yes.
And up to this point, I feel like we've done a fairly good job of pointing fingers in the right directions.
To the point of Ragnarok, though, although he might be one of the best candidates to be left here, he is also possibly our best single combatant slash battlefield anything out of here.
I
I do
understand.
not think that that is as much of a concern that we should be accounting for, in truth.
I understand that I am extremely useful on the battlefield. However, I do not compare to 50,000 troops. I think it's a good trade for one of me versus all of them.
Yes, but the 50,000 troops will be in the field regardless. The choice isn't to have you control the army or leave the army here.
I agree, but who alone stands a better chance if this place is invaded?
Whomever controls 50,000 troops.
But the 50,000 troops won't be here.
I mean, you can leave 1,000 here for protection
That's
and
a
still
thousand
have
that's on the battlefield.
It's still vastly more than all the soldiers out there combined. Maybe not more than an army of the dead, but 1,000 soldiers left here feels like a good investment.
I mean,
I do also
Ragnarok,
want to.
you are an exceptional fighter. But if you think that you alone can stand against an army breaking into this place, I question your strategic judgment.
It's fair. Perhaps leaving some troops behind to assist me in that fight would be the most apt.
uh, Firm would like to ask Overseer another question. All magic inside of here cannot escape the Dread Lookout, correct? Like if I cast a spell in here, it doesn't go past this building.
This facility has been warded against interdimensional travel,
Mm-hmm.
as well as abilities to see into places.
So it's also like effectively a prison. Fair enough. Are there quick escapes, or is there only one exit?
This facility has been designed so that there is only one port of entry to allow for greater defense.
Can the person in the Dread Lookout still communicate with the army if they're locked inside?
Whoever is wielding the Ithilda Nora has complete control of the Eternal Army.
Hmm.
I'd like to point to the fact that Ragnarok has stated that this is something that he wishes after a fashion. The rest of us are willing to do it out of obligation. Ragnarok, you are perhaps the one creature on this entire planet that when you say this is something you'd want to do, that I would trust you with that authority.
I would like to say to hopefully sway those still uneasy about the decision. Since I've become a person, I didn't know why I was chosen for this, and I've been searching for purpose since then, and I think I found it. This is my entire goal in life. This is what I want, and if it means being locked in this place for as long as I live, then it's a sacrifice I'm willing to accept. To me, it will be a life well lived.
Ragnarok, you would have had my vote probably either way. I'd already decided outside who I was going to vote for if it came down to a vote. Leaving you in here just beyond that you are capable, beyond that it keeps you safe, it does not keep you sane.
What if we don't leave him alone?
Also, I mean, Zal, as good of a point as that may be, that's just something that's true of anyone who's here. We can't.
That's
Some of
what I'm
these things are things we can't just try to reason our way beyond. Some of these things are just going to be things that can happen. We can't. We need to take an action.
I'm not saying nobody takes control of the thing. I'm arguing whether that person stays here.
Firm
I
interject.
get it, keep it safe. It is the better strategic decision, but it's not strategic only goes so far when a person is left here to go
Mhm.
fucking insane.
What if we just don't leave Ragnarok alone? I'm not talking about the army. One of us stays.
Someone who can create food, I assume.
I mean, so effectively, when you look at this, from my understanding from this group, uh, actually, real quick, out of character question: has anybody mentioned Dom or what was his name? What did you change his name to?
Whispers.
Whispers.
Whispers. Has anybody mentioned Whispers to Firm? I do believe I've had that interaction. It hasn't been a long one.
I feel you've been in Bastion dealing with the consortium. I'm sure you've met him.
Right.
Yeah,
over the
we
course of
Him,
met
years,
right? Was that right?
absolutely.
Yeah, we met him before.
Yeah.
With
So, okay, that makes this a little bit easier to say. So with that, yes, obviously I'm sort of advocating for myself here. One, because outside of the group, this place is also barren. It's quietly housing metallic soldiers. Yes, I get it. They're not robots, but they're still metallic. They don't require food. Ragnarok is not that exception. He requires food. I can create it every day. And then plus, I mean, I learned the fancy little thing. I could just straight up give him like an hour's worth of food. And he gets, you see? So outside of that, even if you're losing us too, you have Whispers, you have Cal, you have I should ask this question, Merv. You even have much to my appeasement, not really. Well, I say appeasement, not really too positive here. You even have Laylis running around, who's still effectively, from my understanding, a problem.
I mean, do we trust any of them to come here and keep
I'm
him
I'm not
company?
talking about them staying. I'm talking about our
I
placements.
I'm aware, but I'm saying you brought them up.
Hmm.
Are any of them worthy companions for Ragnarok?
That's my point.
Without
I'm not advocating for them to be a companion for him. I'm advocating for me,
Right,
for
I'm
those
going to
to be good
I,
replacements to replace us in the combat.
What if we gave the Bastion Stone, the key to the city, to Ragnarok while he's here?
So Overseer just said it blocks interdimensional travel.
Oh, that's right. You can't leave out. That's right.
Mhm.
Well,
To be
You
you
just
could
yeah, I
like
step
can just
walk
walk
outside.
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 Yeah,
I have the
and then
key.
use it. Yeah. Yeah,
And
like if we're worried about something like that, we can build a path of after a fashion to help him
I
more.
think this solution that Firm's throwing up is not just to like a way to get out easier. It's also one to also to Zal's point of not leaving Ragnarok alone. He has companionship, even if like they need a moment. One of them can
Mhm.
still leave, effectively get what he needs, go like give him breaks and whatnot, right? Fair.
Mhm.
But the stone, if that's his only way out to escape or to leave, Ragnarok on his own still has to travel back here to
Mhm.
be back in his sanctuary. And then in the off chance that he does get jumped from the outside and his only exit is blocked, he can't get outside to use the stone. And so Firm's avocation here is to leave Firm and Ragnarok. Ragnarok stays in control of the rod. Firm knows he can't win. Ragnarok knows he can't win a 1v1 against him, but he can sustain him. And then even outside of that, he can effectively control the field if this place does get jumped. Firm can just segue or like create a whole spot and block it off. Destroy the bridge
Also,
if needed. All these things.
not necessarily important, but Firm and Ragnarok are friends.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm personally for that plan. If that's like, these are your guys' characters too.
Mhm.
Like, if that's a direction you want to take, I don't think that that's a bad one.
Also, that was me not understanding what I was just saying, but that was Firm speaking in third person, by the way. That was Firm's advocacy. I didn't realize I was doing that until now. But yes, that was Firm's like his like effectively if Ragnarok and I stay, like I just stated, he can win. I cannot. But I can keep him alive and around long enough and help him get free if needed. Blaze's little cape. Even if they trap us real quick, as soon as the doors open, we could just teleport out and be gone. And then he could use the stone and we could stay on the run. I'll even go the extra mile. I'll learn teleport circle while we're here. I'll go around setting them up if I can, need be, and give us other effective ways to keep running if we have to. Not saying that'll be a thing, but if needed. And thought not to toot my own horn, but as a wizard, it's gonna take some time, but I can learn a lot of things that can keep this individual safe. And it's a lot easier to keep one safe than all of us.
Does anyone disagree or have any problem with this?
An awkward question, Ragnarok, but as a companion, obviously Firm is very useful for food. I don't want the power, but I'd stay with you.
I would welcome any company, but I think foam is probably my best bet. Although, above the table, does Firm know Dimension Door?
Yes, a
Okay,
daily
yeah,
3 use.
yeah. So if there are people blocking our path, he can teleport us out, and then we can use the teleportation stone to get home and away from anyone who's trying to take the Ithilda Noah from us.
I mean, I can dimension door too.
But can you create food as flavorful as foam does? That's another way to keep me sane.
Don't
Also to
call
he's
note,
he's only vegan for so long.
well, also to note, yeah, uh, not to toot my own horn here, but he's vegan. I can create him anything he wants in that time, and he looks around like effectively. But outside of this place, I'm pretty sure it was barren and just monsters.
I think foam's my best bet. Besides, and he'll put his arm over Furman and like bring him in close. Furman and I are best friends.
But at the end of the day, this is my advocation. It's Ragnarok's approval. Then are you guys okay with it? I think effectively we can all say we agree Ragnarok should be in charge.
I'm fine with this, I think. I'm feeling better about this than I was an hour ago.
Because for some reason an hour ago we did not contemplate the fact that somebody's going to be lonely for the rest of their life, or until this is
Yep.
over. This is over.
It would be an honor to be your eyes, among your eyes and ears out in Dari.
So, will you tell your
Yes.
son I'm sorry I can't hunt him again, at least for a while?
Oh. You will hunt him again.
Ragnarok smiles.
Ember Prime, I am sorry if I sounded dismissive earlier, but I do want to hear what you're thinking.
I don't really have. I mean, this is a good plan. We don't know where this thing's going to want to fight. We don't know what's going on, but we do have to prepare for that. So
Ragnarok will hold his hand out for the Eleonora.
hand it over.
Good work, team.
Firm's going to take a step to Ragnarok's side.
Okay. Ember, if you wouldn't mind sending that item, which should be in your inventory.
Oh yeah.
Over to Ragnarok.
Let me get it.
You can take it from my daddy.
What is it actually called? Rod of the Waxing Crescent.
Yes. Yeah.
Send to player Ragnarok. Send.
I'm sorry. Hmm. Yes.
Ooh,
Yes,
plus
Ragnarok?
1 to his attack and damage rolls. Sorry, what?
You said firm.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. I do not recall whatsoever for some reason.
You just like randomly just said it. Just left it there.
Well, I did not mean it. Sorry, I was looking over the road other way. Oh no, I said confirm. That's why.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huzzah. Father.
Okay. Holding the key to controlling the army Ragnarok. What are you doing?
What do I need to do in order to activate this army?
Tune to it, as far as I'm aware.
Oh no! Oh, you were waiting for this moment, weren't you, Sean?
Since I heard it was a attunement or like Ted pointed it out. I've been waiting for it to occur to you.
All right. Gloves of the Great Badger. Goodbye.
Well, don't.
You can't do a lot of digging out here anyway.
Yeah, can't do a lot of digging, but the rod does not require attunement, both for its
Oh.
function and for what it does with the army. It is not attunement,
Yikes.
as
My bad.
stated by the overseer, and on the item it describes it as synchronizing, which is not.
Oh,
It does not use the phrase attunement.
that's scary. Full send it. I feel like the command is like synchronized now. You know, like the He-Man command whenever he's like, I have the power.
Mhm. Oh
And-
yeah, yeah. Ragnarok, some mech armor starts surrounding Ragnarok. He has a real magical familiar transformation.
I was
Oh
gonna
my
say Firm becomes Battle Cat.
What's that term when Sailor Moon changes? Does anyone-
Magical Girl
Sailor Moon
transformation.
Magical Girl transformation. Thank you. See him spinning for no reason.
Yeah. For some
There's
reason,
no magic. You're just dancing.
yeah, this glowing outline of his body, and it's kind of hot.
Ragnarok gets a visual image like from the rod that shows him that he's transforming, but to us he's not. He's just doing spins. So he's getting all this armor.
Man, the Dread Lookout madness is setting in early.
Yeah, he's just fully hallucinating. You have the rod. There's been talk in synchronization, but holding the rod does not bestow knowledge upon you of what to do.
I will synchronize to it. How long does that take?
Well, it's I will repeat. I will repeat. Holding the rod does not explain how it works or what to do with it. So you have the rod. You've made a decision. It needs to be synchronized, but you don't know what that means.
All right. So then I'll ask the, for lack of a better term, computer. Safety, was it?
Overseer.
Yeah, we'll just call
Overseer,
it the
thank you.
overseer. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. All right, Overseer. I've decided that I will be in charge of the army. What are my next steps?
We have decided.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. And I look at Durham when I say that, and then I turn back to Overseer. We have decided.
Proceed with synchronization and activating of the Eternal Army. Please proceed to the Prime Commorancy. Insert the rod into the center control panel.
All
Real
right.
quick, before you do that, Ragnarok, quick question to the group. In the off chance, right? Because we don't really know what happens here. Maybe this Dread Lookout changes a little bit, some fancy magical shit, right? Or some lights go off. Something might get set off around the world. Might be a signal, might be like a notification. We don't know. These people are extremely advanced. Look at this place, right? Are we prepared to like effectively turn and go if we know like it looks like something's about to happen? Like we're gonna watch the army come out of here, but like we might need to take a move right away. Be prepared for something. We don't know what they're capable of. Like Shadow Face Boy can teleport right in, up to the door at least.
What the fuck is Shadow Face Boy?
I forgot his name. The one that ran away when we were
Rue?
in the no,
Oh,
the other
Albrecht.
one. Yes,
Alright,
him.
Yeah.
Yes, him. That one.
Also,
Skull, but not Shadow. Skull. He had,
Oh,
a,
fair
he had a skull mask. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm just
Okay,
saying.
I got what you mean now.
Yeah.
I was so confused.
I'm sorry. I couldn't
yeah,
remember his name.
those are interesting questions. However,
Mhm.
we will not be going anywhere. You and Ragnarok will be staying here.
No, fair. I didn't mean we like that. Yes, I'll agree to that all day. I'll stay here. I'm just asking, are you guys ready for that? In the off chance, like he might show up to the front door type thing.
So,
He did. I mean,
All right.
he doesn't know this place. Well, I guess he could be scrying on us or something. But like,
Yeah, scrying doesn't work in here. We tried that.
and I hope he shows up to the front door. We have 50,000 member welcoming committee.
I'm not like the most powerful wizard yet. However, if what I remember correctly, that man pulled a time stop. I don't think we're gonna be able to see him doing anything if he chooses. I'm just saying. Continue on. I just wanted to like throw that question out there real quick. I just realized this place is, mechanical. It could do some shit we never probably ever seen, and it might set off a beacon. That's all. Sorry for intruding. Ta-da! The vending machine
Waiting
at
for
my
Sean to come
complex.
back.
It
Yeah.
does make one wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know if there are other storage locations for other divisions of this army around Adari?
No. From my
Yeah, there are a
understanding.
couple other facilities, but I think this is the only one with an army in it.
Mm-hmm. This one houses the army. And he like taps the ground. He's like, if I remember correctly, it goes deep under here. There's another weapons facility, from my understanding. I think it's up north near the winter place, like the cold spot up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that might be worth us taking a look at.
Yeah.
Okay, how are we proceeding?
Heading to the front conferency,
Okay.
and then halfway there, I'll just say, "Oh, for whoever will places me, because I know you guys will need someone else, but and he'll reach into his bag and give 905 platinum pieces to Rainier to hold for now, so that
Ooh.
way my next character will have some money."
You just start handing me handfuls of coin over handfuls of coin, and
Yeah.
I'm like, we've been here for like 8 minutes.
I'm
Uh,
not giving away my gold pieces though, as it is still 666.
okay, excellent. Okay, so how much am I getting?
905 platinum.
Oh my god, platinum. Okay, okay. 909,
Ragnarok
905 platinum
will not need
for
it.
the new guy.
Yeah, and now heading to the prep conferency to insert the Eleonora.
Okay. Stepping out of the archive, the same little spindly ball follows you along the top of the ceiling. As you make your way to the prime currency, they disappear in a little opening. Okay. You step towards the door to the prime currency. It opens up and seals behind you, and there's like I forget what they're called. We're just gonna say antechamber, but it's the door seals, and you have a walk before another door opens, leading to the interior.
Ooh.
Okay. As the final door opens, again, very large. Yeah, little Weasley. Yeah. The final door opens, and a very, very large view of the interior of this place. Uh, you make your way out onto a platform that extends outward into the center of the Dread Lookout. On the ringing the walls from as far as you can see down to as high as you can see up, you see these glowing pods and thousands of those little walking orbs moving about, seemingly performing all kinds of maintenance and work in this area. There is a large central column that again is covered in these stasis pods. The whole area begins to fill with light as you have entered in, and at the center portion, where this gangway into the abyss is sitting, there are it leads to 3 larger pods that are separated from the rest. And as you make your way forward, you can see there is like what looks like a similar kind of console in the center of these 3 pods, and there is just like a glowing blue light around it that is pulsating. And as you approach, you can see that in the top of it, it's like a little pedestal that is glowing. The top of it has a opening that appears to be the same size for you to like set the bottom of the rod into.
Yeah, I'll put it down. Put it in.
Inserting the rod, you can feel like something like secures a hold of it, and you can feel it kind of twist a bit into your hand. And the top of the rod, the moonstone, begins to glow this very comforting light blue haze. Very subtle there. You see the voice form of the overseer kind of illuminate at the panel, and it speaks aloud and says, initiating synchronization. And you see some pulses of light begin to fill the air around you. Once, twice, 3 times, a bright glow and then a fade. Synchronization complete. Remove the rod to awaken the army.
I will remove it.
Okay. With a twist and a click, the rod pulls free. And you can see all along every stasis pod, a little green light appears on them, one by one, just filling the entire space around you. The 3 nearby, one of them ticks over to green, the largest of the 3. There's a kind of a hissing noise that occurs, and you can see this form that is shielded by this stasis pod, metallic armor. The stasis pod cover begins to lift and then slide upward. The pod itself is like maybe 15 feet, 20 feet tall. I mean, the thing is enormous. And as the cover pulls off, you see a equally large form inside. Hulking metallic chest and arms, thick metallic legs. You see this portion of like a fabric cape sort of attached to the middle and sides and back. As the light begins to brighten on the interior of the pod, you see on the form of this metallic soldier, these blue crystals begin to glow, and the visor begins to have a similar blue glow begin to fill it. There's a shudder and a shake as the soldier moves within. Slowly, the head begins to kind of move a little bit. You can see one of the arms and hands begins to slightly pull, and then a hand grabs hold of one of the edges of the stasis pod. The other hand reaches and grabs the other side of it, and you see this hulking form pull itself up and out, and you hear this snapping and breaking of tubes that hiss even more air into the space. And this form, as it pulls itself outward, takes a stumble and lands heavy with down to one knee, one hand on the ground. In such close proximity, you feel the gangplank you're on, although it is very solid as it's out into the air. You feel it shift under this being's weight. They begin to slowly push themselves back up to their feet, unsteady for a moment before they find themselves. This being you are looking at is 10 feet tall. And
Hey,
they
yo.
look like this.
Okay.
Yo,
Ain't nobody fucking with man.
that's so big. It's a big fucking dude.
You see, as they become steadied, the gaze on the helmet falls down towards you, Ragnarok, because you would be the closest in proximity.
Mm.
You hear a voice speak out. Does anyone speak Gnomish?
Can you? You know what? Are we all around? Or no?
Yeah, I mean
Ragnarok.
you're all there. Nobody said they were other some other place.
Ooh.
Gosh, we did not account for languages.
I can cast tongues.
Yeah, but like if I'm supposed to lead an army that can't understand me.
Do you cast tongues, Amber?
Yes, I am casting tongues.
Okay. You cast tongues, and portions of the what this person is speaking become translated to you magically. You hear them saying, "Are you real? I- Is this real?" And they begin like just looking at their large hands, turning them around and flexing the fingers.
Oh.
Yeah, this is real. Are you okay?
You see they turn their attention towards you. Strange. I was in a field. I was in a field. They turn their head looking out and just into the expanse of this place. I can't breathe.
I don't think you need to worry about that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I have a memory of needing to breathe. You can see their hands go to their head like they're clutching it. There's a kind of a sigh of pain and frustration. I don't remember. Wait. There's something coming. There's something in the sky. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Atropus, it's sort of why this has happened to you, I think. My understanding is you were chosen or you volunteered, and now you are part of a force built to fight that thing. Oh God, quick everybody, what was the bug people? The
Atropus.
Vol. The Vol.
Oh, yeah.
The Vol sought volunteers, right? You volunteered?
I don't know. Devol, yes, yes. We. This is strange. I have memories. They're mine, but I don't remember having them.
So, from what this facility has explained to us, um, the Vol took volunteers to build an army to fight the Tropus. So,
Atropus, yes.
Yeah, the thing up in the
Yes.
sky,
The
like you said.
calamity that comes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It came early, so glad you're here.
You need the light. The army
Yeah.
won't work without the light.
The yeah, that thing's in the it was installed, I guess.
I believe
Right
I
there.
have it now.
I will
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will point
yeah,
you the
you are-
thing in Ragnarok's hand.
Then it truly has begun.
Mm-hmm.
Sure,
Is-
sure has.
Oh.
It came early from what we kind of understand. You weren't supposed to wake up for a while, but we had to retrieve the light to wake you up early because there was a terrible foe here that sped up the arrival of the Atropus. We're still trying to do something about them, but we found this facility, we got in, and now we're here.
You can see the looming figure looks down at you and nods. It's so strange. The only time I've ever been taller than anyone is when we occasionally found fairy folk. But you all don't look like fairy folk.
Definitely not fairy folk. I'm a dwarf. This is Rainier. He's human. That's Firmament of the Great Titan. Flavorful Titan. Haha. Got it in one. He's a Genasi, same as Durham. Well, kind of like Durham over there. That's all. He's a bugbear, and the one with the glowy rod over there. That's Ragnarok.
You see his attention goes to each of you in turn, nodding. I see. Well, it's very good to meet you.
And you. In fact, it's an honor.
Do I have a name?
Firm.
If you want one.
I don't think we can understand him.
Oh, that's right. Shit.
We can assume that Ember is
Yeah, I will
doing a bit of
translate.
translating. Yeah.
Actually, Firm interjects on that one then. This is the one that looks about right. I wrote this one down. He's General Orthos.
Ortho. Yes, that is my name. General Orthos.
You know what? Let me correct that title. High General Orthos. There are 3 generals from my understanding. He's the biggest.
You see his you see the helm like flick in your direction at the mention of like high general.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, these memories are strange to decipher, but I am High General Orthos, leader of the Eternal Army. You see, he turns and he gestures to one of the nearby pods. This is General Porlo. This, he gestures to the other pod. General Adreesen.
Oh, there's more.
And he looks to the whole of the space inside. And as you've been talking, these you've seen like kind of extending out of the wall in many places are these like large metallic like they look like basically like gripping arms.
Mhm.
You see them just kind of slowly been extending out of the walls in many places, and appear to be like sliding and locking into rails that are built into things as well. Uh, these are my soldiers, but whoever wields the light may lead them.
Firm throws up a question. Are they gnomes like you? Like you used to be? Those two specifically.
No, one, some are. Can almost feel them. Orlo is not like me. He was a different race. We had few interactions, very tall.
Mm. Sean, this is for you then. Are there other generals outside of those three?
It was described as those like there are three generals to the Eternal Army, and like these are the three, with
Mhm.
Orthos being, as you correctly described, the High General.
Because
So the
that's what was throwing me off. You gave us some names for it, and one was Orthos, Grinny, and Bruhir. I thought there
man,
were four.
I might have named those other two. Just didn't circle them to say like, hey, these are their names.
Fair enough. Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's the downside of writing down notes and then not knowing what your notes mean.
Oh no.
Later on, you're like, oh, I don't know what that is. I thought, honestly, I saw those names are written down here. I thought they were names of like Dragonborn people. I was like, those names are weird. Probably
Mm.
Dragonborns. Um, but I will go forward with Porlo and Adresen. I will actually type both in. Uh,
We'll update that.
General Porlo and then General Adresen.
Take those two.
You see, Ragnarok. Orthos turns to you. Well, it's time we woke up the rest of them, isn't it?
I think that's apt.
They've been sleeping for a long time. They're likely disoriented as I was.
They can
May
take
I,
the time they need to reorient.
We shall find their footing.
It's good. We have work to do.
may I ask real quick, Ragnarok, and obviously yourself as well, General High General Orthos. Do you want to run down real quick of like this current era, I guess? How close Atropos is, these things, so when your people, your soldiers arise, like you're in as much of the loop as we are, kind of thing.
This process will take time. It would be good to have a lay of the land and what to expect to formulate tactics and strategy.
'Cause I was just gonna suggest we could wake up, obviously y'all's decision, but those other two generals that you have, and amongst the highest ranking, and your leader Ragnarok here, running through everything and having like a solid plan, or at least somewhat of a plan. Maybe not like a full breakdown, but before just sending them out there.
A sound idea. uh, you see Orthos kind of like lifts a hand in your direction, Ragnarok. It is up to you to wake them up.
How do I do that? Sorry,
Sim-
I thought this would have been enough.
Simply will it.
Oh, that seems easier than I thought. Oh wait, He'll hold the rod in both hands, squint his eyes really hard, and just like think, "Wake up."
Okay. As you think of that and focus on it, in your mind's eye, you feel a surge of perspective kind of rush into you. You can feel in this moment of thinking about it, uh, every single one of these warforged in this facility, the including Orthus right in front of you. The communication levels of this are unique. You have an idea like of them, and you feel that you can like pass your thoughts along to them, but it's not a fully two-way communicative street here. You can't see through their senses. You don't hear Orthos's thoughts, but you have the very strong understanding that while holding this rod, having it been synchronized now to the army, that uh, like you can think of, I need this many in this shape and formation in this direction and do these things, and that these warforged will understand these orders, and they will be compelled to com- be compelled to try to complete whatever order it is that you're giving them, right? This information is kind of like rushing in as the sensation is coming over you. But like you don't see through Orthos's eyes, you don't hear his thoughts in that regard, but you have complete control of the army with just your thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's time to. I guess for now, just the 3, but soon after, all of them.
Okay. You see the 2 pods for the other generals click to green. Their lids begin to slide up and open. These pods are not as big as Orthos. Orthos is definitely the largest pod inside here. And also, I will make sure I type his name in so everyone knows that. Orthos. Stepping out from the left pod is General Porlo. I will show you them.
Ooh. Oh, that one just looks so menacing.
Yeah, a little bit more evil looking that one is.
Yeah, like you say
We
the
can-
wrong word, he's ended you on site.
We'll just put him right back.
And then a form that is still yet different, General Adrasine.
I'm so here for this.
It's like
Oh,
That's my
that's the
favorite
smart one. That's the smart one. That's the advisor. We like that one.
You see, they each step out. Both have the same similar experience here, where they are disoriented. They speak of, like Orthos, how they don't recall how they arrived here. And memories of a different place are what stands out the most. And but as the moments go by and you all begin to explain things to them, you can find, like Orthos, like they solidify very quickly in this is what I know I need to be doing and what I am for, right? You find that Orthos is a gnome, and they refer to themselves right currently as like I am a gnome. I don't know what I fully am now, but like I am this. Porlo is an elf, and Adrazin is also a gnome. And you find that Porlo and Orthos both male. Adrazin is female.
Adrian's this last one you just showed us, correct?
Yeah, the ones with 4 arms. Yeah.
Here for it.
As you have been discussing matters, these arms have been moving and grabbing stasis pods, pulling them out of the wall, and they are bringing them down to the central gangplank that you are on. They seem to like lock into portions on the exterior of this plank. Again, like the structure you're on is so big. I can't explain to you how big it is, but you are like hovering on a metallic platform out in the center of this place. And these stasis pods begin to open one by one. They come down, lock into this platform, and the Eternal Army begins wakening. The everyone else in the stasis pods, they all share a similar kind of design, and they have this kind of look to them.
Nice.
A very, very advanced version of the like constructs you've seen in Umeli using. And of course, this looks like the same thing that Bekmudim has in his workshop, but fully functional and not damaged. And they begin stepping out. The generals begin to help them orientate themselves. And soon there's enough of these to help orientate the others. You explain to them what is happening in the world. And the Atropos is arrived. And that the armies of the undead are becoming more numerous. The danger, while not overwhelming, is here and present. The process of getting all of these Warforged out of their stasis chambers into the armory, armed, orientated. The facility is designed to hold them in stasis pods, but is not designed to hold all these soldiers outside of that. So there begins to become very quickly within the first few hours of this the need to open the doors and allow them to start forming outside of the tower. It takes almost 3 days of constant work of the towers, fully automated, to pull these pods, open them, and for all these Warforged, these eternal soldiers, to become again orientated, prepared, and then marched outside because there's no room for this many inside.
Please tell me someone told Halfling Hank to stand by.
I think we have one more day.
We've paid for 4 days.
You paid for
okay, cool.
4 days. You also have it's a roughly like a day and a half journey hike to get to the ship. So your window for we take the ship is essentially you'd have to like message them or something, right? You'd have to do something if you want more time of their safety net here. But
if after the first day we can see the pace we're working at, I think we would be able to send to him or even send someone out with more money to ensure that, if that's what we wanted to do.
Or do we want to just teleport? Because
Well, we're leaving the teleport zone with me in the event that we get invaded.
that's true.
So
That's gonna
I'll
fuck
just
us
put
so
down a
bad
deposit
later.
for some more. Yeah, we're gonna be mad that we left that behind.
Oh yeah,
but,
we're gonna be absolutely fucked.
well, I'm not gonna say that because we're way stronger than we were when we got it. But
It's
but we
not
can
a
leave
matter of strength. It's just time. A week on the road constantly.
Yeah, well,
Well, to be fair, we can get a whole escort. Also, real quick, Firm's gonna propose a solid question. I feel like we overskipped. We just let all of these hoes. What am I? I was looking at a message. Apologies.
No, stick
Yo.
with those.
Yeah, wait,
just-
hold on. Tell me more
Commit.
about this message. Tell me more about this message. that you're getting.
we just let all of these hoes out, right? Did we ever decide? Yes, we understand we were keeping this secret, but maybe we could like real
Not
quick.
anymore, we're not.
No, not anymore. Real quick, like on that first day, right? Where there's gonna be a lot of Ember Prime because Ember Prime is the one that can do the message. Throw out a quick message to Baracus or the leader. Who's the council dude that was running Bastion?
Well, there's a few, but there's
Of
the
course.
red stream that we speak with a lot.
There's him, the leaders for
Sinku.
the Senku, Maras, whoever's like we know of, so that's like a good key point for Karakara. Even the dragon or the lizard folk up north a little from here, like right. Once
Mhm.
we let this army out and it just starts marching, they random people, random like groups might run across them and maybe try to attack them, and out of like fear.
That's
We
true,
know
but
what-
we don't need to send them out anywhere right now. They just can't stay inside the building. So we just need to there's area outside that we can just have them be standing for a little while.
Fair. Just thought it maybe might want to let the world be aware that we just set this army free. Don't go start blasting.
Not a bad point for sure.
Okay. Dealing with Halfling Hang. You said you're gonna give a deposit, but that would require you to be there physically. So, does
I'll
someone make
fucking
the
make
march
that
all the way
run.
there? Okay.
You don't have to do it alone.
I
I
can
can
resummon and make a griffin and fly.
There we go.
Yeah, that'll work.
That's safer.
Okay.
I'll give him
Swift of
200 more gold.
okay. Swift of wing. How long more do you want them to wait?
200 gold to give us 2 or 4 more days, so
Yeah.
I'll just do that.
Okay, cool. 200 gold. You get 4 more days. Okay. With the wings, there's still travel time. Your bird,
Yeah.
they can't
an
fly
hour or two.
infinitely. But you're able to get there and back. Let's say you push hard, and you make it in like under a day. You just go fucking hard.
I
and-
probably push hard there, and then I have to stay and wait because, or either that or resummon it. I mean, it gets tired theoretically.
Yeah. It's a
Mhm.
it does get tired. Yeah, it is maintaining a form in
Yeah.
the real world.
But yeah, the pushing hard is the like we're good now. I don't have to rush back.
Dang, the one thing I meant to try to work in but forgot is I meant to do what Orthos was speaking. You find that as he is speaking, and you're waking the other generals up and you're talking to them, their speech, which they use their native language immediately, but you find as they're talking, you're using magical means to translate. But for those that aren't, you begin to slowly understand the words they're saying as more common begins to replace what it is that they are speaking.
Thank
And
God.
the overseer states that since your last visit over the last cycle, they have given them another dream, and the dream is the language you guys were speaking. So
That's
all the
fucked.
all the Warforged understand Common and can speak it.
Nice.
You're being weird.
Okay. At long last, the final Warforged is armed and set out. Those that have been outside the facility for the past while, they all have individual names. I'm not going to give you them, but they are not numbers and whatnot. Although they do know that they have like serial designations. Um, they remember their names. Um, they don't sleep. They don't eat. They are constantly, ready at any moment. During these 3 days as well, you see most of them during this time at different intervals for different groupings and whatnot. Are like trying to get a better understanding of their body's capabilities. They seem to be like immediately connected to them, and they have an understanding, but they haven't walked before, right? They haven't seen through these eyes. So there's a lot of like occasional like bursts of speed, occasional like bouts of strength as they're kind of testing themselves and one another. Um, Occasionally, you see one of the generals. Orthos at one point extends a hand, and a giant fucking energy beam blasts out of it and explodes a rock nearby. As these soldiers begin to get a feel for what they're capable of. Ragnarok. During this time, whenever you focus on the army holding the rod, again, you have that expanded sensory experience that you can feel these soldiers, that you're able to like swiftly pick out and maneuver them. You're not like that like they understand when they're like being instructed by you, and 100% certain like they can't refuse your instruction on this. But again, your clarity here is looking at the army and thinking about it. You can maneuver them, but you don't get their sight. You don't have their thoughts. If you want to command this army, because you don't know like what's around them, you just have like the sensation of like their groupings essentially. You need to see them. You can't lead from inside of a bunker. You have to see where you are putting them. Otherwise, you're just sending them in a direction. And that's all you would know. And you wouldn't know what's there and what's not there.
Yeah, my plan was to kind of give him the general direction of go forth over the continent of Dari and eradicate all undead.
It's kind of a great spot.
You
What about
yeah
cities?
you tell you okay, you discuss this idea with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the three generals nod and say, "We will complete this task for you."
I will
Then
use minor illusion to show some examples of like zombies, some of the like, 5-foot versions of some of the fucked up monsters we've seen that the cult has like produced.
Sure.
Mm.
They
Then-
ask questions about like what they are, if there's known weaknesses, what your experience is like and all that. But again, regarding your instruction, they say, we will do this for you. But if you will not be present, it will be more difficult to fine tune instructions along the way.
If
yeah,
if we take one member of this militia with us, can we then communicate with Ragnarok and Firmament through this soldier?
It's that's not how the communication like works like that, right?
Got it.
It's they under like you holding the rod will to them. They do not will anything back to you. You gain the sensation of like I can feel all these soldiers, and if I tell them to move, I can feel their groupings and where they are. I can pick one soldier and tell them to do something out of it. Again, just with your thoughts. But you do not gain their vision, their sensory experiences, or their thoughts. So you can do exactly what you're saying. Stay in the tower. You can do that. But you will be limited, right? Your information will be limited, your response times may be limited as well.
They want you to take the field.
I'm just making sure that you understand, so you're not making a decision about your character without the proper knowledge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm still thinking it's probably the best option, and then having Zald minor illusion, the symbol of the children of the Darksire, and saying anyone associated with this image also put them to rest.
Okay. If you can repeat your instruction to them.
Yeah. Find all undead on the continent of Adawi and eradicate them on sight. And then if it is found that someone is associated with the symbol that Zal is showing you, to do the same.
Orthos looks at you and speaks. We shall see it done, Ragnarok. You see they enter into formation along with the formation of the army.
Make sure you stay in tight groups. Don't separate too much.
Okay. What do you all do from here?
I'm just gonna question Rag. Hello? There it goes. No, maybe? Hello?
No, we
Yeah,
can hear
you're
you.
good. You're good.
Oh, okay. This is on my phone. It showed me I'm still muted. Sorry. Firm's gonna question Ragnarok. Oh, okay. You covered your bases with the all undead. But what about like not? I don't assume all of them are gonna be evil. Like there's different wizard practices that control undead.
I understand that. I think it's important to get the word out that this is the what's what I'm looking for? Command of the army, and that they should be prepared for that.
Is there any way you can give them explicit instructions to not harm people?
If you want, I can just stick to the undead and leave the children of the dark side to you. You all.
Probably safe, if only because I'm not sure having them march through cities, into cities, is gonna.
Yeah.
Having them stop people on the road to look for symbols.
Yeah.
It would be effective, don't get me wrong, but it will be horrible for people.
Yeah.
All right.
This is
I'll turn back to the generals. Listen what I said. Just stick to eradicating undead.
We'll
That
take
means
care
that
of that for you, Ragnarok. We'll see it done.
he'll nod his head.
Sean. Question.
Mm-hmm.
The map that like the overseer can show us, right? The layout of Adari that it has.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Warforged have access to that same layout map?
Upon discussing it with them, they seem to have like they seem to have like a geographic understanding of how the continent looks at the moment. Yeah.
Because if we like suggested earlier, if we send out or Emma Prime here, thanks to her or capabilities, sends out a message to all the cities. It's going to take a moment, but sends out a message to the leaders, gets the direct message out, and then responses if needed. And then we can visit right away to all of these while these Warforged travel, because we're going to be able to beat them to most of them, if not all. We could explain the situation, sort of advocate that they can be guardians for a city, where it gives the cities some relief.
That's honestly, yes, a very good plan. I think given these things instructions to, if at all possible, stay out of cities, unless there is undead therein that need to be quelled.
Mm-hmm.
Prevention, I mean, if we caught it early enough, it's just marching these things through cities is not gonna work.
I think the
It's
best thing. I think the best thing would be to have the people potentially withdraw their forces to protect the cities while the army itself scours the land.
Yeah, and
it's-
like we originally discussed, this is still Ragnarok's call. Ragnarok is the one in charge here, completely. But I would like to assume that we're also able to give suggestions or like advocacies for things. The potential that I see here is that with his army being so unknown and new, considering I don't think anybody here except for Beckman has seen a Warforged. Maybe citizens of Bastion with what he's been creating. It might cause unnecessary fights and like potential catastrophes in the meantime between now and when Atropos actually arrives, which we want to try to avoid. We want these Warforged to be more like guardians or protectors rather than causing problems, correct?
right.
Sure.
So finding like a really simple way rather than sitting on like a mass destruction of like undead, even if they are undead, finding a way to make them effective and known and like resourceful to people first, and then like secondary option, harmful undead that are like actively trying to like attack cities, people, be defenders in the case, not just see one on site and try to eradicate it.
I mean, I think working on the latter and then the former, to advocate that everybody should incorporate these things into their lives is something we can try, but they don't have any
Mm-hmm.
reason to trust anything we say until they find out that these things over the course of months are eradicating undead out in the field, keeping cities safe.
Yes, that part I guess I worded poorly. I don't expect people to agree to it right away, but rather than ruining their expectations or understanding of what they are here for, have it sort of known and not just because my thing is like there are wizards, there's other individuals who use undead, maybe some undead who are like actually alive and trying to be active helps to society. Like we never know. It sounds wild, right? But like you never know. We didn't even know Durham's people existed until last year. Just avoiding random complications that might occur and trying to like help show the world that the Warforged aren't here just to cause destruction to a certain species. That's all. Like I understand the mission of them and what Ragnarok's doing. I'm throwing this out there as like a question, not like we should do this.
I just don't. I don't think, short of Ragnarok taking the field with them, there's any way to toss it so fine to say, well, some of them undead and not other undead, and not undead that maybe are working as pets for something else, and maybe not.
I just thought about what about just asking about. I said about way too many times there. What of just asking undead that are in the midst of actively attacking people or trying to cause harm and stopping them?
I mean,
But what if there's a town of just undead because they've already gone through with it? They're not exactly aggressive, but they still work with the children of the Darksire.
I
Fair.
I think this begs the question, now that we have a better understanding of how this communication works, should we reconsider our original theory. It seems, yes, the rod will be safest if it is locked away here in the Dread Lookout with the general of this army. However, as it turns out, that severely limits that leader's ability to lead the army. Is the safety of the rod worth weakening the army in that sense?
Anybody
it is.
interject? Yeah, in this moment, I think it is due to what this rod gives power of. Losing the army versus weakening the army are two. There's a very strong road I don't think we want to approach.
I agree.
I think this is where Ragnarok having the key to Bastion will be useful. If it comes to it that there is reason enough that leaving would be prudent, it'd be an option to him and fast.
Mhm.
But I do see the concern. I feel like if it were to be the case that such a consideration about leadership were something we needed to take seriously, we would have, frankly, the time to do something about it.
What if
Mhm.
we agreed upon a certain time of the day where Firm and I leave the Dread Lookout and Ember can send to us and tell us how the battle's going and if I need to make any changes?
Wouldn't that only affect what they can see?
Well, I can't see what they see, but if Ember knows that something's going wrong and we need to adjust, then she can tell me and I can have the army adjust particularly.
I
Fair.
feel like if you're not going to stay locked in the Dread Lookout, there's no reason to stay at the Dread Lookout.
It'll only be for a certain time. And nobody knows about this, so it's not like anyone's going to be necessarily waiting outside. And
Mhm.
if there is, then Firm and I have an escape plan.
Outside of this, I just want to still put this out there. My biggest worry is the army causing more issues now than being able to be here for the war against the Atropos. They'll still be around, don't get me wrong, but like if their whole mission is to protect Adari, like the ball left behind, some gray areas with people, you know?
I
We just
agree. That's part of my instructions to it should be as specific as possible where it concerns undead, where it concerns staying out of cities, where it concerns staying, if at all possible, away from settlements of people or places
yes,
where they are living, unless it is to help them.
yes. Currently being yes, Ragnarok. I think me and Zal were on the same page then. Me and Zal were on the same page, just not fully understanding, or I not understanding.
Your point about all undead is a useful one. However, I think if somebody has a house undead they're keeping around, keeping it in a city, if they've got it out in the countryside, they're probably a danger to more than themselves at this point.
Flashback to the
could be.
one necromancer we met who did that.
Yeah.
Or who was the farmer dude that had like the underground fucking baby?
That's exactly who I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that guy was wrong. So
Yes, like he came to the realization though that he was wrong.
And Ragnarok, there's no way you can any of your generals can communicate to you from the field.
That's true.
You can't.
I'm certainly on the mind of let's make it more specific, but we also can't account for every single thing.
Completely fair. That part, yes.
If you're leaving the tower, then we have to set it to Durham's point. It has to be not every day. It's like once a week on a sometime. I don't know.
I'm okay
Because
with it.
How about
people are gonna trace what is happening here back to here, as there is a wave of things
How?
moving away from here.
what about this? What about this? Ember Prime's correct. The only way they're really going to know is if they're watching currently, and if they're still watching when this army starts marching. That's also a valid point.
I mean,
What about
it's
if we're
already
worried?
marching,
If
Oh
we're
right?
damn it! If only we had a spell to keep from doing that.
so, Ember Prime has message. She can send the messages out to everybody. Come on, children. I can learn spells if I can find a scroll for it, or see if I can learn it from Ember Prime here. I don't know how that might work. We could, every time we send a message back and forth, pick a new time between the two of us or the group of us. Reset it once a week. Not have to like make this determination once and then let it be, because that's going to be too complicated. But every interaction we have, we could discuss a new time.
I personally think we just get the word out that no undead are safe. If you have undead with you outside of a city, then be prepared for them to be destroyed.
That's probably fair.
So they're not going in the city. Got it.
So they're not going to the city. They can recall their forces. The army can provide protection for those outside of the city. I can tell them to set up bases within areas that are prone to being attacked.
Mm-hmm. Oh. We also can equip some of the groups or the armies, platoons, however you want to look at them, with ciphers. I assume this place has ciphers around, aside from the weapons.
Probably, yeah, but
I
I mean,
think.
they're kind of living ciphers as far as I can tell.
Yes, fair. My concern is not necessarily for the army and like doing these things, but it's for the future to come. I just can't stress this enough. We should look for a solid route to not cause destruction of the people or the army before the actual battle with Atropos. Except for like with the current mission with Ragnarok is having it do of destroy the undead.
So I think, to wit, the best we can do to keep you abreast of what's happening in the field, not in terms of necessarily your army, we might not be able to help that much, but in terms of how the moon situation is progressing, is to decide on a time you leave once per how probably not every day. I agree with Durham there. That's but a once every week,
Once every week works for me.
something.
It'd be nice to stretch my legs.
Because if we find out information that you have to know for moving troops around, if we find out there's a portal or there's a hole that things are gonna come through, you gotta. If you can't get any kind of information from the field, we're gonna have to find some way to give you that information.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are we sure you can't get any magic in there? Have we?
We
Can
can
you
test
go
it.
in and we can
And
try it?
what if like one of two of us, three of us go out for like safety measure, or one of us consider the armies out there. Oh, they have coats back. Nice. And try to send a message inside real quick.
Really just requires me to go inside and Emma can try and send a message to me.
That's my thinking.
I'll give it 5 minutes. I'll go inside, shut the door.
Okay. You go inside. The facility seals behind you.
This whole time I thought we were sitting inside like the overseer's room.
Well, then
My bad.
I'll kick everyone out.
Yeah, however you do it, Ragnarok, you are sealed in the building. You have the rod, right? Please say you're the
Oh, I'm never letting go of that thing. I'm gonna sleep with it. Weird phrase, but still, you guys are what I'm saying.
That's been recorded.
Damn it.
On the record.
All right, girl. Should Ember Prime try to send a message to you? It does not go through.
5 minutes pass, I open the door. Nothing.
Nice.
Well, you should also assume then that you won't be able to teleport into or out of if the door's closed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever leave this place, you need to leave like 20 of them standing in the doorway, so you have a clear line to teleport into.
Weird question, Sean. You're the one that can answer this. The map in the overseer's room, so like the overseer can show us.
Mm-hmm.
When this army is out and about, doing its thing, uh, does the army show up on the map as well, like it did with the weapon caches?
No, it
Oh.
doesn't have like real time tracking information of it.
Okay. Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Every Saturday at 7.
We could change it, depending, to not make it a set routine.
Well,
Send the,
every day that we send, we'll set up a time and place.
yeah,
Well,
I feel
a
like
time.
that's a little bit more secure. That seems
So
good.
this Saturday at 7.
Yes.
General Otho, we need you to leave 20 soldiers here with us.
I mean, maybe you want to leave like 1,000 and just have a proper patrol this whole area, so somebody can't sneak in or sneak around. Or
I was thinking no more than 100.
that's fair. Honestly, 50,000 is a number that is
Bewildering.
I can't fully process it. Trying to think of it like lined up on a field.
Adawi is a big place.
Can I
True.
throw out a random thought that I just had to the group? We know how we may feel. However, we just recently learned they're still sentient. They're not mindless. How are
Yeah.
they gonna feel? I get it. We can't count for all 50,000, but if like sort of history shows, and it might repeat itself, one of them woke up on its own out of an anomaly and left. Door locked behind it, yes, but there might be a chance that some of them can break will.
I was actually gonna ask Sean a couple of questions about that RP wise, but we're kind of coming up on time, so I don't know if we got time today.
I mean, you can, if you want to ask it, just like, if you just want to ask me, you can do that as well.
I just didn't want to interrupt the scene. But Rainier would be spending time talking to these people. And I think that that would sort of begin to formulate in his mind what needs to kind of be thought of as what happens the after the Atropos is handled. And we don't know what will happen when, like, to these people when they do. And after a fashion, he's going to have started to ask folks what it is that they want after, and kind of start getting an idea of what we may be able to do for them if they survive. But there's a very real possibility that in the future we're going to have to help establish a community for these people, and also instill in them in the present time I know it's 50,000, but like start instilling the idea that they are going to have to remain isolated for a little while until we have this problem addressed.
Yeah, from talking to him, I mean, it brings back a lot of memories for you, right? Of like
Yeah.
the idea of, being in an army. And they, from talking to them, you, you gain a couple pieces of information, as well as anyone else who's just, I mean, it's 3 days. You guys have a lot of time to do a bunch of stuff here. But, uh, they are individuals, but they are like most of the like all their memories of who they were and what they were before are very fragmented. Nobody has a very clear picture of this. The one thing you do kind of glean after talking to a couple people, and they all kind of have a similar kind of story, is um, of the memories that they can currently recall, no one's mentioning anything about fighting or being a soldier.
Right.
It all, but uh they have knowledge of how to do all of these things, right? Like they have knowledge as if they had lived a life like that. So although they would be theoretically physically without experience, mentally they are trained soldiers already. That also becomes apparent from talking to them. The kind of construct nature is much stronger than whoever they were before.
Mm.
Being a part of the Eternal Army is like a higher priority in their personalities. Um, and they have no idea what they would do after because they don't even really know what they're doing now.
Okay.
Right. So like
So
everyone you
they're
talk to is
not
like, I'm not. I can't. I don't even know what that would look like. You know.
okay. So we are at least for now not at risk of them kind of going a little bit insane by ostracization, being removed from society is not going to pose a problem at present.
I mean, at day 3,
Right.
not
Right.
not
Yeah.
that you
Right.
can determine.
Yeah. Yeah. But okay.
Would
And I had another question, which is apparently gonna have to come back to me. Apologies.
Yeah, no problem.
you gotta let these good boys and girls know that they're gonna have to white knuckle it through a few years here.
Oh no.
About 5 years, and then we'll check on your autonomy lease.
This has been a very productive.
I'll give further instructions. General Otho, stay out of the cities unless specifically requested for aid to deal with the undead. Set up camps within smaller cities to aid those against the undead. And I think that's it, actually.
We will
think,
see
like-
it done. We will hunt down the great enemy and eradicate them from this land.
Oh, I remember my question. I want to know if these people, like, under the circumstances by which they had agreed to this, like, if this was, if this feels like it had been a little bit coerced, if they had had some information kind of obfuscated from them, or if some of these people hadn't volunteered.
Nobody really knows how they got here, right? The common, like, as you talk to them is, what I was having a dream that I was home, and other variations of this, right? and then I woke up and I'm here, but I have memories of like being in this body and the thoughts of being a soldier and that the enemy, the great Atropus, the calamity that comes, that I am to be the barrier, I am to be the shield between it and the destruction of this world. um, so a lot of that information, people just they don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, they don't know if this was a choice or not. Okay,
Yeah, they don't really
that's
have
fine.
ideas of that. But you get I mean, it might be disturbing, but Adrasine has a slightly different variation of that story where
Oh,
she recalls being awake and aware of creatures that have arms like hers, how they are now, and that they didn't look like anything else they had ever seen before. And they looked in her mind, as she's like recalling the fragments of this, um, they looked like monsters from the stories they would tell of if you go too far in these directions, these creatures might come get you and snatch you. And how she describes them, they share a lot of similarities to the Vol and how you know they look.
okay.
Hers,
Making sure I understand. Making sure I understand the pronoun usage here. She is saying that in her life, she had been told stories of monsters that are the Vol, and that she had been warned if she wandered into the wilds, they could snatch you up.
right,
Okay.
like a scary story you would tell someone, right? You spook your
Right,
kids,
right,
right?
right.
That's
But
like
specifically, she lived in a culture that feared the Vol.
um that would be a one way to interpret that. It would not be
Okay,
wrong, but it would be one way to interpret it.
okay,
Um,
okay.
and she seemed to have like some faded memory of like being in a place with these creatures, um and it not exactly feeling great, like, or she's like, I don't, basically it's like I didn't feel very comfortable, and then now I'm here, right?
Okay.
Uh, from, I'm just gonna ask Rainier. Are we sure the Vol didn't just like show up and kidnap a race or two and just like make them soldiers?
If given like privacy, because I don't think Rainier would want to even chance that any of these soldiers have the opportunity to hear this. Because right now their worldview is very skewed. But that's partially for their own safety right now. Maybe Firm and I take a walk, and
Mhm.
I'll let him know, like, the Vol are empirical. They are a colonizing force.
Mhm.
And with what she has just said to me, there is not a doubt in my mind that everything that they have done has been with selfish and dominating intent.
Well, I can't say selfish because Orthos seems to sort of like agree to it. Yes, I get it. I think there's like a split side, like the original story we learned, right? There were the gnomes and the elves. I think the elves were sort of against it. The gnomes sort of went with it, which might be why we don't like. There's not really a gnome population around here, is there?
Well, Firm,
Mhm.
do you see any Vol who have been turned into these soldiers?
Nope. I'm not putting that past them. I agree with you on that part. I'm just saying, maybe I was wrong in my quick assumption of they showed up and just, picked and chose like race or two real quick. Or they did stop by and discuss it, took some by force anyway, and some by not.
I think you are, given the number 50,000, I think that you are correct. And unfortunately, given that many of these folks have never seen worn in their lived lifetimes. More often, they may have been selected rather than volunteered.
Ooh,
Volunteers.
the generals might have been the best of the societies at that time, somewhere around there. That still wouldn't make sense because she said she was told stories, correct? Which would imply she might have been younger. I don't know. You know, we can come back to this. That's a lot of gray areas. I do not feel like starting right now.
Yeah. If we start to meddle with this, we will undo the army, which we have just spent a very long time getting ready. So we can't open these Pandora's boxes yet.
Yep.
But they will definitely need to be addressed if any of these creatures survive the Atropus.
Gonna leave
So-
those questions in the back. We're not gonna
Mhm.
question none of it right now.
Mhm.
Fair enough. He just like looks around. He's like, beautiful day, beautiful skies, wonderful weather.
We look up at gray ass clouds.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say,
fucking like
we
overcast
look up
shit.
the weather's awful, and also the black sun is.
We look up, there's a black sun, and it looks like fucking like Minnesota in January. Just fucking cold, damp. There's a sea spray that's just freezing.
He's like, that's not something you see every day. Look at that. That's a different kind of view. Look at that sun obstacle up there. When it gets to an awkward thing and somebody doesn't know what to say, they just start saying some random shit. He's like, I just cannot believe the view that we have.
Are there any other questions you have immediately about the current happenings?
Yeah, just one. How fucking dare you?
What do you mean?
I appreciate the
have
world
a-
setup.
I have a quick question just about the landscape. Is it just straight up desert everywhere? Are there any like stray plants or palm trees or anything like that around? Or is it literally just sand as far as the eye can see?
Just highlands.
Yeah, it's definitely scrub-like land, right? Very, it's like the plants that grow in the desert, right? Very hardy, designed to grow in places where other things can't. So there are very durable plants that grow here. It's not exactly desert, but that's not far off, right? It's a lot of as I
I'm
said,
looking for one decent sized cactus, Sean.
you want a cactus?
I want one
Hey,
decent sized
let me
cactus.
look. I'm prepared. Look,
Oh,
trade
shit,
offer. I'm
Druids.
prepared to give you a cactus, but I'm gonna ask, why do you want this cactus? Am I gonna regret giving you a cactus?
You might, right?
Yes.
Druid
But
stuff.
you're right. It's druid stuff. At level 6, there's travel via plant.
Oh no.
He's just
You want to
gotta.
You want to use a cactus? Are you kidding me?
Well, he's got to go put his head up against
Hold
a
on.
cactus. Give it a thought.
I have a compromise, which is my beloved local tree, the juniper, that are desert plants and survive with basically no moisture, and is a tree.
And is a tree. Okay, hang on. It's transport via plants.
Yes.
I think that
Lovely.
means technically
mean-
we could jump into shrubs. So
I
don't
think
think
it's got to be
large or
large, though.
bigger.
Yeah, that's what I was
okay.
like. I was like, I know they have some. You can't just hop
Yeah.
in a leaf.
No.
Yeah.
Right, and, that's why I was asking. Decent sized cactus will do. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
think
gotta be
I could make a
large.
decent sized cactus work.
And
Anything
also, we're not gonna
smaller
be able
than
to
that's
do
a
it
problem.
for a bit, right?
Right. I mean, yeah.
But
it's-
eventually.
Also, you know what's pretty strange wording, right? Creates a magical link between a large or okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I read
it's-
it wrong. It's large or larger. Inanimate plant. I thought there was somehow a verbiage in there that was like animate plant. Like,
Well-
wait.
I got to awaken the plant first. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh, I love
A
that.
large animated plant. I'm
I
like, what
think-
is that?
I think technically the staff can be like planted, and then you can use that as if you're
Yeah, but
crazy.
I'd have to leave it.
Yeah, that's it's not
My
a good.
stick.
Well, you could use it to get back, right? Like it is a fixed point where if you set that tree up and go, okay, time to jump to another tree, so that I can jump back to specifically this tree. It's one of the like pretty good uses of the Staff of the Woodlands feature there.
Does the tree that the staff creates is it permanent until undone?
Yeah, you need to speak
It'll
the
say it
word.
at the thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's you basically turn staff into tree, and then you have to speak it again to turn staff back into staff.
Okay. Okay. There
It's a good stick.
could be plants out here. Let's roll
Let-
for if
let
there
Herb
is a
cook.
big enough plant close to like, and I mean close meaning like in the surrounding area just of
Okay.
the tower, right?
Can I make a survival
Um,
roll to try and find one?
I was gonna. We're just gonna do like random D100s,
Okay,
right? Because like that way the chance just
Yep.
is guaranteed on there, but it will be low.
Okay.
Direct, large enough directly around here. I'd say you have a 25% chance of there being one, which isn't
Okay.
bad. That's
That's not bad at all.
yeah.
Right. So
As you
talking,
like, if you move to the coast, you will find one on the coast, right?
So we're talking
Um,
25 or lower to find one right around here.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we can make the assumption that either getting off the boat or getting back on the boat, I will have seen a tree.
100%, yeah. Because
Okay.
then you're near your water, and it's they're
Gotcha.
going to be growing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 25 or lower to see if there's one right around here.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh,
No.
Not immediately around here.
Okay.
But you are a druid. I don't know if you can do druid stuff. Change that. You know what I mean?
Grow plants.
I mean, in theory, I could. I don't know
Was
that. I don't know that that spell would create a large enough plant to do. So
Hmm.
Looks like then your closest plant
That's
is
all right.
going to be
It's
a
a day
little bit
away.
of a hike. Yeah, a little bit of a hike, but absolutely guaranteed to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. And any other immediate questions? Just because we are over time for the session. Okay. I just want to clarify intents that Ragnarok intends to stay behind at the tower.
Mm,
yes.
Okay. And does Firm intend to stay there as well?
yes, sir. Feeding
Okay.
Ragnarok every day.
Best buddies.
There goes your Cloak of the Mountebank.
Ah, effectively, yes, but it's okay. Because now
Yeah, it happens.
I get baby Bazaar back. What do you mean, father?
Oh god.
Can't wait to hear that voice
The
again.
turn of Layla's is gonna
Yeah.
be something.
Yeah. We
Do some explaining.
I'm glad I'm not playing Merv. I get to just be sort of generally mistrustful of you instead of
Yeah.
actively disliking you. Merv was fucking done with Laylas, especially after all that shit everybody gave up to fix him. And he fucked off to go have dragon adventures. Merv's got a hole in his head where a memory was that he can remember maybe halving at one point prior to fucking
He's working on it. He's
getting
a
you back in
changed
your
character.
fucking body.
This is perfect. It gives me a week to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do.
You see
Yeah, I was
Merv is
gonna
on the
say,
other side of the
with the-
screen.
To be fair, Dawson did not walk into session with this plan. I don't think.
No,
I did not. There was
I don't
no.
think anybody really did.
This
I had
was
the plan to throw my hat in the ring, but I didn't plan to stay.
Yeah. I would as players, I would consider what you want to do about having like a more active character. I feel due to the nature of events, it is likely to dip in on Ragnarok and Firm at points.
Mhm.
It is also possible that you choose to continue playing those characters as well.
I will say,
So
I'll say this for me. I made the conscious decision like Max had said, this all was like on the moment. I was like sitting there, I was like, oh, I could just leave this one. That's right, I could do that. But also effectively, the two people who do have random character NPCs out in the world, sort of fitting. The two leave,
Kind of fitting, yeah, kind of
Kind of
fitting.
fitting,
for it.
yeah.
but I didn't plan on coming back for Firm on this one. Outside of like the effect of like, hey, we got to go pick up Ragnarok and Firm, but I didn't actually plan on asking for being Firm. Had fun with him.
Right.
But in this moment, this feels like a great spot to be able to leave him and let the story sort of drive it and not the player drive him.
Yeah, sure.
That's fair.
I mean, look, I'm down for whatever it is you want to, you choose
Like,
to do.
Being that I'm the one who came up with the impetus in character for, I did not consider leaving. I pretty much assumed we'd be leaving one person. I did not consider leaving two until I considered leaving one person here alone. And that being like, yeah, no, mechanically, as like, players above the table, we could be like, yeah, suck it up. That person's not a person anymore after they stop being a player character. However, like in characters, like that's fucking gnarly to do to anyone, especially
Yeah.
fucking Ragnarok, actually.
Mhm.
To leave him fucking isolated, that's like the one thing we can't do.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
that's
He
like
has
that's
he has
part of the
only
decision that gets made, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fair. If Ragnarok had made that decision, nobody else wanted to stay. That's that's Ragnarok's decision.
he has only ever known companionship versus Genevieve and then Baracus when she died and then you guys. So
He's
I
always
think leaving
concerned
him with
about you.
someone was like, yeah, leaving him with someone was a good idea.
And it being firm kind of makes sense.
Oh, that was such a
Honestly, the food thing is
Yeah,
yeah.
I
that
was
alone
before we brought up
sorta,
leaving someone with me, I was like, wait, what am I gonna eat?
yeah.
Gonna eat. Hey, bigger question, where are you gonna go to the bathroom?
I'm
Oh,
not helping
great
you with that.
question.
I don't
We'll
know.
figure
Fuck
that
outside.
You
out.
said there was
Yeah.
a giant chasm that you were standing, like a big
We'll do
cerebro
the
room you were
That's
standing
so
in.
funny.
Yeah, you can just go right over the edge. So there's a
There's
lot of
a big
volume.
what? Nobody knows what's at the bottom of the Cerebro room in X-Men. Nobody's checked down there. Nobody's
We'll
going
do
up there to scoop up whatever's down there.
we'll do
You
the
know
Harry
some of those
Potter thing and
teenagers
just
get in there.
do the Harry Potter thing and just prestidigitate it away.
Oh my
That
god.
means you have to tell firm every time.
Yeah, you gotta fill up a
Well,
bucket.
I assume we would anyways. It's like, hey, I know we spend every waking moment together, but I need a second.
Oh my god.
Cody, if you want to know why Beast has taken an evil turn in the current run of X-Men
Yeah,
comics,
yeah,
it's because
this
of
is-
speculation like you just made about
It's
animals like doing their business in the bottom of the Cerebro room.
it's because Beast is like, God damn it, as one of the only people who like is allowed to be down here and also can climb upside down on stuff. I'm having to constantly go clean up shit out of the bottom of Cerebro. Some fucking teenagers that can walk through walls got in here.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Beast, you took a piss in the danger room again, I swear to God. Okay, so in that event, I think next session is we can start with whatever farewells you guys want to give to the people that are staying. Presumably you're not leaving them forever, but you would be leaving them behind, so consider that. And then the march would begin. Just to add clarity, they are war forged. They don't need to breathe, but marching under the water is not going to be good for them. So your march is going to be from the Dread Lookout north, and they have to take the land bridge all the way around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have some way of transporting this many creatures in a different manner.
How many creatures can the stone if they all hold hands? I mean, that's a disaster, right? Because we're gonna put like 10,000 people in a room.
Yeah.
We're gonna die first.
Yeah, it replicates a teleportation circle spell, so whatever that does, which is not.
Yeah, not.
It's not. It's not that many.
Sean has to create custom spell. Send army where you please.
Yeah, transport army via plants. Yeah, so just to let you guys know, like that's their only course of travel, unless presented with a alternative, as far as their march goes. Cool, and then whatever you guys want to do, if you travel with them or go somewhere else, consider all that. I would say Doug and Dawson between, if possible, over the weekend. If you can let me know like what you want to do character wise, if you want to bring an old one back or a new one in.
I've
that
stuck
sort of
with
thing.
this, and I'm gonna stick with it, no matter how much fun I think it would be to make all these other characters. Going to go back to the Layla's route and play the long game with that one and figure out how to
Oh my
work the
God.
group.
Yeah, it is interesting time to choose him. You're like cut. Remember what we talked about? Like, hey, if you got like too many levels or whatever, like if you didn't do anything with this, then it would just you wouldn't be able to play them. He would
I
actually
know.
be the villain if it progressed far enough along in that direction, right?
I think that's more of a problem than me taking Layla's back over and dealing with like party upsetness than it is to deal with.
Yeah, that you and I will talk about Layla stuff later.
Okay.